Good morning, everybody. Here is Maciej. Today I would like to talk about using a Mega Drive Gamepad on Amiga, Atari, Commodore. You can't connect it directly, you need an adapter to do it, everyone knows it. And there are a few on the internet, but none of them supports autofire, therefore I've built my own, and here it is. It's an open source project. There's a link below this video, you can just build one by yourself. It has really compact size, which means that it has a few SMD parts, so soldering it is really a fun project, especially if you are into soldering. Let's go over the functionality. So there are LEDs indicating the directions of the buttons. Oh, anyway, this thing on the right hand side, this is the joystick test running on this Amiga where the gamepad is connected through the adapter, so that we can see that it really works. So the directional buttons are working and expected, and we have button number 1 and number 2. Well, not a big deal. I have tested this thing on few Amigas, few Commodores, few Ataris, and had no issues at all, so there is no switch between models because I had no need for it. So everything that is compatible with Amiga should work. Button number 1, button number fire number 2, and directional buttons are working. Now let's switch on the auto fire. This is the button over here. When I switch it, there's a LED indicating that the auto fire is on, and as you can see, it's not firing. Thanks God. I really hate those auto fires that keep firing after you enable them. I mean, then you hear this firing all the time. That drives me crazy. So this one, after enabling, does nothing. And the fire number 1 is not altered. It has exactly the same functionality. So when you hold the fire number 1, you just hold it, it's not firing. Now you have to hold fire number 2 so that the fire number 1 starts firing. This is very useful for games that does not support 2 buttons, so not very practical for Shadow of the Beast, but on the Commodore 64, like Who There Wins, this is a really great feature, because now you can use the fire number 1 to charge up the energy, or in case of Who There Wins, you can just throw grenades, and you can still enjoy auto fire by pressing button number 2. So useful for most of the games, because there are just like a few games that support 2 buttons, at least my favorite games. So once again, the fire number 1 is not, the functionality of the fire number 1 is not changing, but the fire number 2 enables the fire on the fire number on the 1. Now you can change the speed of the auto fire with this potentiometer. It's getting slower and faster, and it's super fast. Very useful for some games, because you can change the frequency of the fire, so you can avoid those things with like 3 bullets being shot together and there is long pause. On few games do recognize actually that the auto fire is on and reject firing in general. So by altering the speed of the auto fire, you can avoid that. Okay, that will be enough about the auto fire. Works as expected. Well, let's switch it off. And another feature is the remapping of the up button. So the up button now works as expected. When I enable remapping of the up button, it's not working anymore. So the left, right, down are working as expected. Fire 1, well, that's what it's supposed to be doing, and now fire 2 jumps. Again, not very useful for games that supports 2 buttons, 2 fires, but most of the games does now. But now I did it really in purpose, so that the up button gets disabled and you have to jump only by pressing the fire number 2. Because I would like to really have a control over jumping in those games when I enable this feature. So like you run left, right, and you can't jump by accident. You have to just press completely another button in order to jump, which is useful in my opinion. At least this is the way how I like to play those games. Okay, let's switch it off. And the last feature is you can turn off those LEDs if they drive you crazy, especially at night. or you don't have to solder those. Now let's try different gamepad. Now you can change it from this side without any effects because this one is buffered. Don't change the joysticks on your running Amiga, but this one side is buffered. Now let's try this one, the wireless gamepad from 8-bit Todo. That is my favorite gamepad. Okay, the LEDs are off. Works great. Now this one has an auto fire, but when you enable it, when you hold the button number 1, it will be firing on the button number 1. So having those two gives you a few different combinations of the auto fire, which probably should cover most of the games. Works great. There is also another adapter from 8-bit Todo that allows you to connect the PlayStation gamepad. That one works as well. So basically, well, looks like it's working. Okay, that will be all for today. Thank you for watching and have a nice day.